If you are hearing these words, know this. It is not a coincidence, but a response, a resonance. Your soul has been waiting for this call, this quiet whisper that now penetrates the very depths of your being. You feel it, don't you? That elusive sensation, as if the entire world around you is merely an elaborate set, meticulously constructed but strangely fragile, ready to crumble at the slightest touch, as if behind the familiar facade of everyday reality lies something entirely different, something deeper, more encompassing, and perhaps frighteningly real. We live in a world that persistently convinces us that all is obvious, that logic and science are the sole ultimate truths, unshakable and immutable. But what if this is merely part of a grand game, a magnificent performance, carefully orchestrated to keep us captive within illusions, preventing us from peeking behind the curtain? What if those very great mysteries we futilely search for in the boundless depths of space or in the dusty scrolls of ancient manuscripts are actually hidden much closer, practically at our fingertips, within the very core of our own consciousness, before we enter this inner sanctum together, where the boundaries between reality and illusion blur? Make your choice. Your like is not just silent approval, but a true declaration of your intent. Your subscription signifies your entry into the ranks of those who bravely tread the path of seeking, those who fearlessly pose questions. Yet, this path, I assure you, is open to far from everyone. It demands not only curiosity, but true courage. The courage to see what is carefully hidden from the eyes of most, and an unyielding strength to accept the truth, however bitter or unexpected it may be. We speak of Project Stargate, of those very secret CIA files, of the very real reason humanity never returned to the moon after its first bold steps. The truth, which they so artfully conceal behind a dense curtain of daily news and established doctrines, is in reality exceedingly simple and simultaneously terrifyingly immense. This is not merely a conspiracy theory, as you might wish to believe. It is a meticulously planned conspiracy against your very consciousness. They do not just hold the threads of information, they actually control your perception of reality itself. They methodically shape your worldview, creating convenient frameworks so that you never, under any circumstances, see the true enemy. And he, believe me, is not found among the distant stars. This enemy resides within you, being, unfortunately, their most effective and sinister tool. Imagine the year 1969. The entire world held its breath, watching the first human step onto the surface of the moon. It was a truly triumphant moment for all of humankind, the pinnacle of technological progress. But what followed this grand event? Why was the Apollo program abruptly halted? Why were the lunar missions frozen, and all information about their true objectives placed under a veil of secrecy? The official explanations, reduced to simple cost-saving or shifting priorities, sounded not just unconvincing, but frankly implausible. After all, if humanity had directed so much effort and resources to send people so far, wouldn't it be logical to continue these explorations? In the deepest archives, inaccessible to curious eyes, lie the testimonies of what truly happened then. Project Stargate. This is something far greater than a mere attempt to study psychic abilities. This was a profound exploration into the boundless potential of the human mind, its mysterious reserves, and its inseparable connection to the fundamental laws of the cosmos. The researchers sought not merely to learn how to foretell the future or influence events from afar, but to grasp how it might be possible to transform the very fabric of reality. And when their insight touched upon what truly lies beyond our ordinary comprehension, when they brushed against what is hidden behind the veil of illusion, a primal fear gripped them. It was a fear so all-consuming that they chose to retreat into silence. There are accounts suggesting that during one expedition to the moon, possibly during the Apollo 17 mission, astronauts encountered something utterly inexplicable. This was not simply about anomalies, but about phenomena that defied all established laws of physics. Unofficial records, leaked from classified protocols, hint at observations unmatched in any known program. These were not shadows, not optical illusions, not tricks of light. It was something that caused the most resilient men, who had undergone the strictest selection, to experience such terror that they were rendered speechless. According to the records I had the chance to examine, one crew member, whose name has been irrevocably erased from all official registries, described shining structures that bore no relation to natural light sources. Another described something else entirely, a sense of presence. Invisible, yet commanding, it stirred a primal, irrational fear deep within the soul. It wasn't the oppressive loneliness of the boundless cosmos, but rather a sharp awareness that they were not observing something, but rather that something unknown was intently gazing back at them. The classified Chimera protocols, reports that were never meant to see the light of day, painted a truly unsettling picture. The researchers delved beyond ordinary pursuits of military applications. They sought to grasp the very essence of consciousness, its unfathomable ability to influence matter itself, its subtle, inseparable connection to what ancient mystics called the primal light. The moon, with its age-old, untouched surface, seemed the perfect key, a key to unlocking the fundamental nature of our own existence. And it was here, on these lunar expanses, that true alchemy began. The alchemy of consciousness, not metals. This was known to the Gnostics. They spoke of our world as a prison, cunningly crafted by lesser beings, the so-called demiurge, to keep us in blissful ignorance. True salvation, they asserted, arises not from without, but awakens deep within us, through the comprehension of hidden knowledge, through the awareness of our own divine nature. The Stargate files are not merely a dull compilation of reports on the development of psychic abilities. They are undeniable proof that these wondrous abilities truly exist, and that they are intimately connected to those very lesser beings spoken of so often by the ancient Gnostics. A lost quatrain from century 11, verse 93, discovered amidst the ruins of an ancient monastery atop Mount Kurama, reads, "Mirrors that reflect not stars, but souls." This is not mere ornate poetry. It is an accurate description of the mechanism they so desperately sought to employ. It is a secret they managed to grasp, and which plunged them into unfeigned horror. They realized the moon was not merely another satellite drifting in the heavens. It was a powerful repeater, and it wasn't solely for light and warmth. Kenshin, a reclusive monk whose ancient scrolls were discovered in the ashes of a monastery on Mount Kurama, left us a description of the so-called solar mirrors. These enigmatic artifacts, according to his writings, could reflect not only the visible light we are accustomed to, but also the very threads of destiny. If these scrolls can be deciphered correctly, they will open a path to understanding forgotten technologies capable of using celestial bodies to control flows of energy and even consciousness. And the moon, with its exceptional position and mysterious properties, seemed the ideal instrument for such designs. The presumed influence of solar cycles on the noosphere, as some modern researchers claim, is merely a superficial manifestation of far deeper connections known to the ancients, the calculations of the Mayan sages, the prophetic visions of Vanga, the esoteric revelations of the Gnostics, all, despite differences in words and imagery, speak of the same thing. They speak of eternal cycles, of great upcoming changes, and of the urgent need for spiritual awakening. And in all these teachings, the moon, according to their prophecies, invariably played a special, key role. Therefore, what happened during the lunar missions can hardly be considered mere coincidence. It was a confrontation with the very reality that they so diligently tried to hide from prying eyes. When the astronauts stepped onto the lunar surface, they were met not just by lifeless, dusty craters. They saw something else, a reflection of what lies beyond our usual material world. A reflection of the true, primordial source of light, which they so desperately tried to block. It was at this very moment that understanding dawned. The moon is not just a cold, soulless rock drifting in the cosmic void. It turned out to be a mirror, and this mirror reflected not the myriad of distant stars, but something incomparably more ancient, something powerful, beyond their control. And then, standing before this unfathomable, all-encompassing force, a decision was made. A decision to freeze. A decision to plunge into silence. That inexplicable anxiety that creeps up on you at 3 o'clock in the morning. That ringing sense of alienation as you gaze at the unfamiliar faces hurrying about their business on the city streets. No, this is not the blues, not ordinary melancholy. It is your own soul, suffocating within this artificial, constructed matrix. It is the echo of what was discovered, and then carefully hidden from prying eyes. It is your deep instincts, screaming that the reality we inhabit is far from as simple and straightforward as it first appears. They intended to use the moon as a sort of relay. But what was the repeater for? For total control? Or perhaps for the irreversible transformation of all existence? The archives hint that their goal was to access the primal energy flows of the universe itself, to that which existed even before the birth of time and space. And they truly managed to find this sacred path. However, when they glimpsed what truly lay beyond the veil of being, absolute panic seized them. Imagine, you open a door expecting to see familiar, known reality, but instead, an boundless, immeasurable ocean of light unfolds before you. This light is both captivating with its unearthly beauty and inspires primal terror. It penetrates the very core of your being, burning away all accumulated fears and false perceptions. This is a light that awakens a dormant power within you, a power you never even imagined existed. In that very instant, they realized they were utterly powerless to control this phenomenon, let alone harness it for their own ends. All that remained was to succumb to the overwhelming fear that gripped them. And it was precisely this fear, like a wild beast, that birthed an entirely new, unforeseen solution. The path lay not in advancement, but in concealment, not in progress, but in stagnant silence. They decided humanity had not yet reached the necessary maturity, or, more accurately, that they themselves were not ready for what might awaken dormant powers within people. Now that your eyes are open, you can no longer stand aside. Your like is a bright flash of light, instantly visible across the vast network, and your repost. It's a precious seed you sow with hope into the vast desert of sleeping minds. Your subscription is more than just a formality. It's a solemn oath. If you feel ready for something more, our inner circle will become your steadfast operational base, and your support through super thanks That's the life-giving energy that fuels our shared flame in this courageous battle against the relentlessly encroaching darkness. Until our next encounter, be mindful of the world around you. Stay connected with those you hold dear, and never cease your search for